Good morning, cats. Looks like a beautiful day. I think it's supposed to get up to 70 today. But right now it's a little cool and there's a breeze in the air. It's got to be better than yesterday, though. Yesterday morning, what a disaster. There were two things that I had on my agenda yesterday. One, in the morning, I had an appointment with the contractor to come here, and that was at 10 a.m. And then the other thing I wanted to do as soon as that was over with was to get oil for my bike, and I had to go to the Harley shop to pick that up because I didn't have the oil I needed to put in here. So those were the two most important things that I wanted to get done. Well, I got my morning chores done and waited for the contractor to show up. 10 o'clock came and went. 10:15, 10:20, 10:30, still not here. So it was about 11:45, and I called that office, and I said, I'm not very happy. I don't know what's going on here, but I said I thought I had an appointment at 10 a.m. And they said, well, we'll look into it and we'll get back to you. And that was all they could tell me. I waited until almost noon here. So that was almost 2 hours I waited here. At least an hour and a half anyways. And finally I said, you know what, I'm not waiting any longer. If the guy hasn't shown up now, he ain't coming. So I got in the truck and I took off and I drove into town and I went to the Harley dealership. Well, not over yet. I get out of the truck and I realize that I drove all the way there and forgot my wallet. I had no way to pay for the oil even. So I was like, I beat myself up. I couldn't believe I made such a stupid mistake. You drive all the way, like a 20 minute drive anyways, and you get there and reach in your pocket and it's empty. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. So I turned around and I wasn't even out of the parking lot when my phone rang. And it was the contractor. Hey, I'm going to be at your house in about a half hour. I said, well, I thought my appointment was at 10 a.m. Oh, I don't know, he says. He chuckles and he goes, I'm kind of like the cable guy. I just get there when I get there. I said, well, I was waiting at 10 a.m. That was on my schedule because I got other things to do today. And I said, I'm not at home right now, but I said I'll turn around and head that way. I had to come back anyway to get my wallet. And so I drove all the way back home, and he was pulling in this exact same time I was. So we got that business knocked out. And then I went and bought the oil that I needed. I got the AMSOIL V-Twin synthetic to put in there, the 20W50. That stuff's not cheap. I mean, for an oil change, it's probably going to cost me over $100 for this bike. By the time I get the oil filter, the primary oil, and the motor oil, and the transmission oil, it's not a cheap oil change, and that's doing it yourself. I don't know what they would charge to have somebody change all those fluids for you, but it's not that hard to do, and I can do my own. So anyway, today I'm going to see if I can get this finished up, get the oils put in it, get the battery put in it, and make sure that the starter works, and that'll be done. I can get it down off the lift. And then we're going to work on this. We're going to take that clutch apart and replace the clutch plates and put it back together and see if we can get this running. I got a new battery for this thing too. So yeah, the other battery, this negative cable completely corroded off from inside the battery, and there's no fixing that. So I got a new battery. It was only like $20. And then here, this is the Harley battery, which is still good. I just cleaned it up and it's ready to go back on. They're both fully charged. So I got that. I got the new oil filter in here for the Harley. And I think we're ready to go. On the primary chain case oil, I got this handy little, it's just a little cheesy funnel that you snap in there. And it keeps the oil from going all over the place. And when you fill this up with oil, you fill it right to the bottom of the clutch there, no further. So you don't want it pouring out the end here, but you want it up to the bottom of this clutch. Well, I'm just a little bit short on primary oil. I got a hold of the local auto parts store and they said they can have it in for me by 2 o'clock today. Other than that, I have to drive who knows where to find it. So I'll just wait till 2 o'clock. I'll get back to this. But now I can get back over to this. One thing I've learned about doing these mechanic things on the bikes and even on my truck or whatever I need to do, that having the right tool is really important. This is a little impact driver, and these are the JIS screws. You got like a Phillips head end on them, but they can be, you know, tighter than, I can't get them off just by hand, you know. They're just like, so how do you get those off of there without stripping them out? It's pretty simple. Impact driver, you stick it on there, give it a couple taps, it loosens them right up. And you don't have to worry about stripping them. So we're going to pull these out. Got the bolt and the spring with it. Now I got new springs to put in there. And now that we got all those screws out, we can take that cover off. And that exposes our clutch plates, so then we can start pulling these out. These were the old ones. So with each one, there's also a ring. I got new rings for it too. And there's 5 all together. So we're just going to pull all of those out. First thing I'm going to need is one of these plates. I'm going to slide that in first. The next thing that comes on is not a clutch. One of these rubber spacer things goes on there next. Just gotta be careful not to rip it, because these little tongs kind of a little sharp edge on them. And then we're ready to put one of the clutch rings on. And that goes in and seats up against there. And then we just keep repeating the process with all 5 of them. I got another plate that goes on. And then another rubber ring. And I'll just keep doing that until I get all 5 of them on there. That back on. Get all these new springs out of the bag. And then I can put those back on. And then I'm going to do a little tap on each one of these tighten them up. Now this thing has a left and a right, so you have to push in and turn it, make sure it's in the right way. You can test it by pushing it on something, you know, to make sure that it's going to tighten and not loosen. And then I just give each one of these a tap. That's all you want to do. You don't want to overdo it. Make sure it's seated in there right. All right, use my JIS screwdriver and got that cover back on. So, the only thing I got left is put this side plate on. It doesn't take a gasket or anything, it's just dry. Just covers up the auto oil pump. It automatically mixes the fuel with the oil. So the oil pump is in there that pumps the into the carburetor along with the gasoline. And we'll just snug these up with the JIS. I'm just hand tightening these. I can get a pretty good grip on there with this T-handle, and it helps me to really, you know, I know when those are tight. Any tighter and they'd be stripping. You just got to have a feel for it. There we go. All put back together. Now all I need to do is put the battery back. All right, the Kickstarter's back on. Battery's back in. We got power. So now we'll see if it starts. Well, I got that one bad boy fixed, and that clutch works primo. It grabs now. It'll turn you over on your back now. Now before I get hurt, I'm gonna put that away. Let's get this old oil filter off of here. Oh man, that was one stubborn oil filter. And I missed. Got it on my carpet. Well, it's nothing a little power washer won't do when I get to cleaning out the garage. Let's throw some soap on it and hit it with the power washer. I put a little bit of fresh oil on here, and then I'm going to wipe off that ring in there. Make sure it's clean before I put this back on. And then I'm going to screw the new one on until it just barely seats right there. And then it's got to go 3/4 of a turn. I'm just going to put a little mark with a permanent marker right on the top there. And when it gets to, 9 o'clock here, that'll be tight. And it's a tight fit to even get your hands in there, to be honest with you. Doesn't have to be super tight, you just want to get it nice and snug. And we're coming around. And right there, we're at 9 o'clock, so that's good enough. I still have to put my floorboard on, and this chrome piece and the shifters. And then when I get to primary oil, I can top that off and put that back together. And then she should be ready to rip. You ever see the price on this motor oil? It's like liquid gold. You don't want to spill a drop. Let's get this oil tank filled up. I always got a couple things after I work on it. Number one, I hope it starts. And I don't have that starter problem. And number two, I hope it doesn't bleed anymore. You know, Harleys are notorious for leaking oil, and this one wasn't bad. It just had a few little drips, but hopefully I tightened everything up, new gaskets, so it should be okay. I pray. Now, I am using AMSOIL, but this is 100% synthetic V-twin motorcycle oil. It'll also work in a transmission and primary chain case. But I get the chain case oil. I don't know what the difference is. If you're using synthetic oil, you know, it's probably going to cost a little bit more. You can mix it with regular oil, but if you're going to do an oil change, you do one or the other. If you're adding oil and all you have is synthetic, and you have say you have regular oil in your bike, and all you got is synthetic oil, you can mix them. I mean, you can top it off with the synthetic oil. It's not going to hurt anything, but it reduces the effect that a synthetic would have. It's not going to improve your performance by any degree. Yeah, I can see the oil now right at the bottom of the clutch, and that's exactly what I want. So now I can put the derby cover back on, and then I can see if it'll start. On the derby cover, I put a little bit of this blue thread locker on those, because those don't get very tight. They're just small bolts. They strip very easy. I'll snug them up, but you can over tighten them. Like I said, one of them already got stripped. So, well, the bike's all put back together, full of oil, bolts all torqued down, shifter put back on, footboard put back on, exhaust pipe back on, oil can put back on, starter fixed, battery put in. Now we're going to see if the starter is going to work, if it's going to start. You're either going to see me smiling or you're going to see me crying. One of the two. Ignition on. Circulating through the new oil filter. Then I'm going to check the oil again, and should be good to go. Well, for my next trick, I gotta get busy, a little elbow grease on this thing, clean it up a little bit before I put the saddlebags back on it and everything. This back fender needs a little bit of work. My chrome needs polished up, so while it's up on the lift, I'll clean it up. It's a beautiful day today. I could go out riding. The roads are pretty rinsed off at this point. And it's like almost 70 degrees today. Real windy though, because it's blowing in more cold weather. Tomorrow it's supposed to be freezing again. So this time of year the weather just kind of does this and that. Anyway, thanks for watching me today. I appreciate your support and for hanging out with me here in the garage while I got all greasy and dirty. And actually kind of enjoy myself when everything goes to plan. Now, I can't say this job didn't go without a lot of cursing and carrying on, because there were some issues. I knew from the beginning it was going to be a can of worms to get into. That starter was no easy thing to get at. You know, like I said, I had to tear most of this side of the bike off and the other side just to pull that starter out and get that starter clutch fixed. And that was the problem. So, thanks to YouTube videos, which I watched plenty of, that kind of gave me a clue as to what my starter problem was, and then exactly how to tackle it. And with the help of some good tools, I did it. And I got this thing running again. So, it's all good. We're ready for summer. Now I can get on to other things. Well, thanks for watching. If you liked my video today, hit that like button and boost my channel up a little bit more. My channel, views start to go up and then they go sink down and then they come back up a little bit and then they sink down and then, so yeah, I'm looking for all the support I can get. But thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, take care. I'll catch you later.